We only have we do have 6 fights on this main card, so let's go ahead and break them down. And opening up the UFC Tampa main card, we have the biggest favorite of the evening, Navajo Stirling. The fan base that this guy has is so ridiculously loyal, it's out of control. All I'm seeing, Navajo. So let's see if this kid lives up to the hype. He's only 5-0 in his career. He is undefeated, and 4 of those 5 wins are stoppages. He's taking on Tuco Tokkos. Plus 500 underdog in his second UFC fight.
He's not to do that.
Isn't that from a video game? Tuco Tokkos. That's from something. I'm not making it up. It's from something.
No.
It's not pizza. Different thing. Okay. He's 10-4 in his career. He's 3-2 in his last 5 years, coming off a loss in a short notice UFC debut against an absolute beast. And that's a theme we'll get back to later. Navajo Stirling, the consensus fan favorite. Everybody's so excited for this guy to make his UFC debut. Former kickboxer. He is early in his MMA career. And as a kickboxer, he does a lot of things you would expect him to do. Nice combinations, good kicks. He'll invest in the body early. He's not really a high volume guy, but he does a good job making the strikes that he does throw be meaningful. If he's inside the pocket, he's going to plumb that head and throw some knees. The question about Navajo is, what does the grappling look like? Can he defend takedowns? And unfortunately, I don't know. Dude only has 5 professional fights, and there wasn't a whole lot of grappling. Yeah, he defended a few takedowns in his last fight, but that was against another kickboxer. And the reason that question matters is he's fighting Tuco Tokkos. His real name is George. I don't know why. It's Tuco Tokkos, but his name is George. And George is a grappler at his core. He has expanded his skill set. And while he is a grappler, instead of forcing fights to the ground, he waits. He wants you to commit, and then he'll lower his level and charge forward. He's got very good control on top. He's not going to get too risky. Tons of pressure. Decent cardio, no real power, but straightforward game plan that seems to be working for him, certainly on the regional screen. Listen, Tuco is not great. He's got a little bit of an inflated record with a bunch of regional wins over nobodies, but he does have takedowns, and we still don't have the answer to, can Navajo Stirling defend takedowns? I'm going to pick Navajo. He's very clearly the better striker, the more dangerous of the two, but there's just a lot of questions. I couldn't imagine spending minus 700 money on a dude that only has 5 fights that we've never seen defend a takedown from somebody who knows how to shoot takedowns. I'm going to have to leave the fight alone. And we'll see if the hype is real. I need at least one real fight to decide. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Tuco Tuesdays.
There you go.
Here's how you know that Navajo is a good light heavyweight striker. And it matters in this matchup because obviously if he gets taken down, es no bueno. But if he keeps it on the feet, he should be absolutely fine. And the reason why it's going to stay on the feet is because he is not one of these big strikers that knocks people out, that throws heat 100% of the time. You see these people come in and they can be pretty fraudulent because they're just throwing heavy right hands or heavy left hands, or they got this big hook and they're just catching everybody with the big shots. Navajo is an experienced striker that throws off-speed shit. It's not 100 miles an hour every single time. He will throw feelers out there, and that's how you draw out the wrestling of a guy like Tuco. You pump it, the feints, the off-speed stuff, he commits to a shot, you fucking snipe him. That's what's going to happen. I like Navajo. I think he gets it done.
Yeah, I mean, we picked the same side. Would you think minus 700 is a little too risky? No? He's not proven yet.
I think he's got all the opportunity in the world to look minus 700 in this one.
I mean, he's certainly set up to do so. This is a tailor-made fight. They call me Cautious Ange, so I'm going to be cautious here and just
I think they call that a pussy.
All right. Well, Navajo Stirling, $9,600 in DraftKings Fantasy. If you think he absolutely blows through George, well, then he is very clearly worth that money. But to Jacob's point, he is not just a giant, big, huge power guy. And 20% of his fights have made their way to a decision. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I might spend it in a lineup or two, but I may also let the DraftKings Optimizer decide for me. You can check that out. It's included in premium membership. It's only freaking $10. You click a few buttons, it'll spit out some lineups for you. You also go to a different menu, boom, there's the artificial intelligence picks. You go to a different menu, there's Jacob and I's bets. Go to a different menu, you can see Artem's picks next to the rest of ours. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member. At the top, it's only $10 for an entire month.
Have you ever
Heard the wolf cry by the blue horned moon?
or ask a grinning bobcat why he grins? If you could paint with all the colors of the wind.
Listen here. You know how people are always like, "Whoa, Angel's a genius." Is the fact he does math like this? It's crazy. I think people just think I'm a genius because people like this exist. I said 20% of Navajo's fights have been to a decision. 1 in 5 is 20%. Arsener thinks that 1 in 5 is 30%. That's problematic. That's problematic. What was your question before we move on?
Oh, because you were mentioning you were talking about the website. You were talking about different menus in the. Have you ever got sexual pleasure when you were handed a menu at a restaurant?
What?
You heard me.
No.
Why was it not a no immediately? Because you
I
heard
just
the
had
question.
to make sure that's. I don't know if I did. That was crazy. What kind of question is that?
I think it's a relevant question. I think people would want to know. I mean, if it's. I don't know how
Is
bad
this
your
because I'm
addiction is.
fat and I love food?
You get excited when you get a menu handed to you. I just know how far it went.
I usually know what I'm going to eat.
Well, I would question that.
Are you the reason they have sneeze guards at the buffet? You fucking pervert.